Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Great Gundam Project, episode 80. 0080. We can't do this we could do this for the next 10 episodes is the problem. We can't do it every week. We got it out of our system last week. We're free. I'm joined by M. Hello.
Hi.
This is the Gundam podcast, and it's a free episode, so there's a whole bunch of people listening who don't normally listen to this show. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, hello.
If you're listening on YouTube, or I guess the raw MP3 on the website.
This will be free on Patreon.
Yes, it will.
You might be listening to this on Time to Go at ax.is, which is our landing page for the Great Gundam Project, which is what you're listening to. Me and Jackson talking about Gundam 2 episodes a week forever, for a year and a half, and for 8 more years ahead of us. So
yeah, it's over a year and a half. We're like coming up in 2 years.
No, it's a year and a half.
It was August, right?
Yes.
So that's over a year and a half.
That is a year and 7 months. That is a year and a half.
But yeah, this is the Great Gundam Project. That's what we do. If you've never listened before, we'll do our best, I guess, to be as beginner-friendly as possible. But our recommendation is that you go back to the start and listen to the podcast in order, because we go on a journey with Gundam. We go on a whole journey.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about it all. We're going to be talking about Double Zeta, which is our favorite show. So if you're listening to this and
I don't think in this episode we're going to be talking explicitly spoilers about Zeta and Double Zeta. I think we're going to, if you haven't watched Mobile Suit Gundam, there's probably some stuff here just by the nature of what we're talking about.
I didn't even mean in a spoiler sense. I meant if you heard me say that and were like, what the fuck? You should probably go back to the beginning of the podcast and watch the whole journey play out.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing.
The best Gundam, Double Zeta.
Yeah. But otherwise, we're just going to talk about the first 2 episodes of 0083 this week. That's what's on our schedule.
Yeah, so the way this usually works, if you've never listened before, is when we have a series, well, normally we have anime that we watched, but this week we're not going to do that because this is a free episode. And we haven't watched it. We were busy with other work, so we did not have another anime to watch. But we talk about 2 episodes. I do summaries. We discuss the episodes. Now that we're in another series as opposed to movies, we're doing a backup show. So after these 2 episodes we talk through, we are also going to be talking about our new backup show, which is Armored Hunter Melolink, which is a Vodums spinoff, because we watch Vodums while we watch Double Zeta. And you can listen to all those recaps and... I'd say discussion, but honestly there wasn't that much most weeks about Vodums. But
and then
in the
at the
back
end, there was
matter
a lot.
of Double Zeta.
Yeah, we'd just watch Vodums and go, man, Kiriko Kuve, he's so cool.
He killed 20 cops this episode.
We discuss the economic warfare of the Federation and how it compares to their actual textual warfare, and dive into these thematic deep reads of Gundam, and then we cross over the street and watch Vodums and watch a man kill cops for 20 minutes with no plot.
Yeah.
Vodums is good, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Vodums is good. I think that's it for introductions. We should probably just get to the Gundam.
It's time to get to the Gundam. This week, we are beginning our watch of Mobile Suit Gundam 0083, Stardust Memory, which is a OVA that started in 1991, went on to 1992, was directed by Mitsuka Kase and Takashi Imanashi, has a bunch of writers here. These episodes were written by Fiona Ogubu. There's a whole bunch of credited people on the show, and none of them are Yoshiyuki Tomino. I think he is in the story by credits in the openings, but this is a OVA that is not Tomino's team, set in 0083, and that is the show that we are watching now. We're very excited. And that's the show. And episode 1 is called Gundam Jack. M, you have a summary.
It's the end of the 1 Year War. 0079, not actually 0083, because why not? But clearly about to be the year 0080. Garen is dead and Cassilia is in charge of the Zeon forces. We mostly find out about this by the screaming of Zeon commanders on ships. No one who really has a name. We see a Zeon pilot and a Gelgook taking out a bunch of GMs. The Zeon fleet's about to retreat, however, and this is happening just as Lieutenant Gato is about to get in a Dom and head out into battle. But he's told Garen's dead and that they're getting out of there because it's time to stop. The armistice is signed. Mobile Suit Gundam ends, but the seeds of a new battle are being sown.
It's true.
We cut to a wasteland of crashed ships as a GM in like a cool rocket pack fights a Zaku. The OP song plays, and we find out that these are all test pilots for the Federation, and they are just doing this like training exercise to figure out this new flight pack for the GM. This is all very cool as hell. This fight is great. It just Top Gun music playing over these mobile suits being presented like they're fighter jets doing dogfighting. It's great. It's a lot.
It's very cool.
We meet Keith, who has been studying but is still having some trouble and gets himself caught in rubble. He's like the young up-and-comer. And we meet his superiors, Lieutenant Burning and Lieutenant Allen. Burning, great. Clearly someone saw that they got away with like Captain Killing or whatever, and they're like, oh, Burning then.
Yeah, no. Who's going to stop us?
We get the fakest white base that we've had since, because it's literally the same type of like a Pegasus class ship. It's just a white base as it flies over the ocean. There's a lady in a suit. Her name is Nina Purpleton. She has an Anaheim Electronics badge on her lapel just to tell you where she's from. On the ship are two captains, Captain Pasarov, and we might as well talk about this now. I'm going to bow to the will of you and to call him Captain Synapse, but I hate it. I'm watching the official...
Wait, I won?
I'm watching the official Blu-ray release the rights have put out, and in these subs, he is listed as Captain Sinapus, Sinapus. There is no official British Blu-rays, so Jackson is watching internet files.
I am watching the official DVD subs, though. That is where they're from.
And in that one, he's listed as Synapse because if you know a modicum of Japanese, you know those two words will be said exactly the same way in Japanese. I'm going to call him Synapse. The other character I refuse to bow on, though, however. That's my take.
Okay, so we're splitting this down the middle. Synapse is Synapse because that's a real word.
Yes. And we'll get to that.
And that's obviously what he's called.
Yes.
Can I just say that even though this makes me very easy, I marked the fuck out when I was like, yo, that's a Pegasus class ship.
Yes.
That is a white base.
Yep. Everything's been quiet since they escaped or left Jaburo, which is where they're all from. Nina is amazed by the movement of the water because she's never been on Earth before. They're over Australia, and she's like, oh, are we coming up on Sydney? And one of the captains is like, we are flying over Sydney right now because Sydney's been destroyed in Operation British, where Xeon dropped a colony and all of Sydney went underwater in an instant, and the rest of Australia seems like it had a very bad day besides. Synapse says it was the largest hole ever created by man, and the cost was too great to pay. A Xeon team watches the ship fly by and then reports to a submarine called the Wallfish. Fish, F-I-S-C-H, because we are deep in Xeon is all German now, and it sucks. Not a fan of that, because it adds a lot of loaded imagery into the Gundam, which already trades in a lot of politically loaded imagery.
Yes, it does.
They are starting Operation Stardust, which is, of the memory of this show.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. We go to a Federation base, and everyone looks up as the Pegasus class ship docks, and they are amazed at the money that Jaburo has to just build a giant, beautiful, gleaming white ship like this. Ko, our protagonist, asks if they have any Gundams on it, since it's a white base, and Keith's like, oh, I don't know. Keith is busy doing push-ups, just on the ground. And we see the Zaku that they are working with earlier being fixed up and stuff. Ko and Keith head for the fake white base to say hello. Ku is the impulsive one, even though he looks like the most boring Lego man possible. And Keith's like, oh, we shouldn't do that. But Ko, you're always the one getting us in adventures. And they are clearly the best of doomed best friends here.
Yeah, they sure are.
Yes. We learn that Captain Synapse is the captain of the ship called the Albion. And he reports to the base commander saying they have 2 prototype suits on board, and he needs the base commander to open the nuclear storage bunker for a test. The base commander's like, okay, well, if you need test pilots, you can just pick whoever you want from our fighter pilot team. We've got a bunch of people. The boys head into the hangar and see 2 Gundam being worked on. One of them is kind of a normal sized Gundam, and one of them is a second beefier Gundam. And Ko goes, oh, wow, 2 Gundams. Which is good.
Yep.
The first one has like a core fighter, much like the original Gundam did. The second one is a heavy armor Gundam with like a giant shield and these big shoulder rocket pack things. They meet Nina Purpleton, who introduces herself as being from Anaheim Electronics. We get these characters' full names. They are Chuck Keith and Ko Araki.
Chuck Keith.
Chuck Keith. She's a systems engineer, and she's not here for Keith flirting with her, which he decides he's going to do nonstop. There is a guy here named Orville, who is clearly just like the Astanage, you would think, until a reveal ahead. They're super amazed to be on Earth, and where they have things like sunsets. And Keith's like, oh, yeah, I could show you a sunset. And Nina's like, I'm not that desperate. I'll be fine. I don't need to see a sunset.
Yep.
A giant woman shows up to block Keith's advances. Cannot overemphasize. She looks like she's like 7 feet tall and just enormous. And her name in my subtitles, and I'm going to use, is Mara Bassett, Lieutenant Junior Grade.
Mora Boshed.
Yes.
Is what everyone else on planet Earth calls her.
Yes. Mara Bassett. Or I'm just going to call her Mara.
Yes.
So just so you know. Orville is going to actually go see a sunset because no one's going to take him on a date. And he's driving along in a Jeep and then contacts the Wallfish, telling them that the Blau angle is ready because he's a spy. And he uses German words for their dumb thing. Captain Synapse heads in the nuclear bunker. The base commander mentions that it hasn't been opened since the Antarctic Treaty was signed, and he wishes that it would stay closed forever. Sorry about that. Zeon are ready to prep for an attack, and their leader is Gato, now a commander with the world's worst ponytail. I hate it. We'll talk about it. They give him a Federation uniform to sneak onto the base, and he complains that it's not his equivalent rank. He's like, oh, this would really help if it was like a lieutenant uniform or whatever, and it's not. It's just like a grunt uniform. The test pilots talk about the GM rocket pack that they were testing in the cafeteria. They haven't decided who's going to be the new pilot for the GM when they go forward. Nina comes by and hears them talking about suits and defends the Zaku because they're talking about how the Zaku's all old and busted. She's like, no, it's a great ship and anyone would be lucky to pilot it. Her and Mara both sit with the test pilots and talk about mechs. They try to get a sense of who she's gonna pick to be the pilot of the Gundam, and she plays coy and it's like, I don't know, I need someone with like a great sense about piloting. I'm like, oh, you mean a new type? You should just talk about new types. Have you heard of them? And then she mentions someone who's only trained with the old style of mobile suits might not be equipped for piloting a Gundam. We need a boy to get in the robot.
Maybe you've watched this show before, Mobile Suit Gundam.
Ko comes up and talks about the stats of the Gundam and like, oh, like it has all these Vulcans and, a core fighter. And then he talks about the full armor one. He's like, oh, this is like an anti-nuke Gundam that's equipped with a rocket, like a shoulder-mounted nuke launcher. Hal Emmerich himself descended from heaven and said, what if I made a mech based on my Japanese anime? This is the anime he was talking about.
Yeah, we cannot get into it now, but it's a fucking Metal Gear.
Yeah,
it's a fucking Metal Gear.
Yes,
and
there's no way in the world this is not the anime he was referring to when he said just like my Japanese anime.
I mean, to be fair, the 2 Metal Gear have already been designed by this point. That were already this.
But specifically, the like nuclear deterrent mech that has a shoulder-mounted cannon that fires nukes that he built is just this thing.
Yes, no, the railgun was the Rex thing that came after this show.
Yes.
It is the same. It is the same. It is a Metal Gear. Someone's going to walk in and go, Metal Gear. Also, Gato is voiced by Big Boss in Japan, so that's just true. So, it's called Unit 02.
We'll get there. Nina brushes Ko off. She's like, you might know a lot of stats, so that doesn't make you good at piloting. And actually, it does. He's the protagonist. I'm sorry. He's going to be good at piloting. Orville comes back to base after dark, telling the guard that he was out looking at sunsets. He's waved in, and from underneath a tarp comes Gato, surprised at how lax the Federation's security is. He's like, I can't believe we lost to these people. They didn't even check the Jeep. Orville's like, it's like this all over. It's almost as if Earth is a place where people act ridiculous because they live in luxury all the time. Synapse preps the nukes into the full armored Gundam for a test tomorrow. Nina spots Ko and Keith snooping around. Mara preps Unit 01, which is where they started calling them Unit 01 and Unit 02, almost like another mech show that invented nothing.
I'm gonna lose my mind. Melting in my chair.
Eventually we'll get to where Ava comes out and we can't do this anymore.
It's gonna suck so much.
Then we get to the part where we're like, oh wait, no, the people who made this Gundam definitely watched Ava and put this thing that wasn't replicated before it.
Eventually we'll go out the other side and find it, it's gonna happen forever. God.
Yep. Keith complains to Nina about her bad attitude. Ko's like, drop it. She's clearly not interested in you because Ko's a good guy and Keith sucks. This is my take. I know that our friends on the Discord and stuff were talking about how Keith is cool and nice or whatever. I think he sucks. I think he's the Yosuke of this fucking show. He
absolutely is the Yosuke of the show, but he is also very clearly designed by people who know who is watching anime. This is the first time that someone has realized that shippers exist. They are doing this on purpose. Look at him.
Yeah, Tomino has already said, I was really surprised when Gundam had a big female fan base, and it's because you accidentally put Garmin Shar in it.
Yeah. Who could have seen this coming? But now they know. Now the people making this clearly know.
Yep. Anyway, Ko and Keith head off to get drinks, and Gato walks by in his Federation suit, the most obvious, clearly a character that matters because look at his hair possible, and he's just here to check out the Gundam. Yep. Nina thinks that Keith is coming up the lift to bother her again, but it's Gato who climbs into Unit 02 over Nina's protests. He powers it up and walks off. Keith and Ko look on. Ko then gets in the elevator and climbs into the 01, ready to go stop the other Gundam. The 02, much like the bigger Gundam that we've seen before, has like a head loading cockpit, while 01, he just climbs in the chest because it's a core fighter. Nina contacts 02 pilot and tells him to surrender, but then he activates his beam saber and says he's taking the nuke for the revival of Zeon as he cuts his way out of the hull of the Albion, which is all very cool. The base is hit with a missile barrage from Zeon forces outside the base as buildings start to blow up and the Albion takes damage. Keith races off in a Jeep as Ko walks off in the Gundam to stop the 02. We see other members of the test team, like Kirks and Burning and Allen, all get into mobile suits. Keith warns them that the Zeon forces have stolen a nuke. A Dom from Zeon rushes in to attack the Zaku and the GMs that are launching out of the hangar. And the Zeon pilot is incensed that they'd commandeer a Zaku and then cuts the Zaku in half with the beam saber. Kirks was in it, rip Kirks, because that blew up. And then Commander Gato stops as Gundam 01 confronts him with his own beam saber as they're ready to face off, and we reach the end.
Yep. A Revolver Ocelot walks in, steals Metal Gear Ray's like, I'm taking it for the Patriots. It's literally the same scene.
Dom rockets past a Zaku and cuts it in half. It's maybe the coolest action thing that's happened in Gundam.
It cuts that in half. It cuts the Zaku in half.
It's so understated, and that's why it works. It's exactly like Char Zagok impaling the GM in Jaburo. Yep. Levels of cool. I like it a lot.
It's incredibly cool. They have a lot of money to show as the mobile suits fight.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, this episode's great. I'm liking the show a lot. I feel like we're not going to do that much discussion now, right? Like, I think we're going to get through both episodes. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it so far. I don't have any specific thoughts on this episode, so I guess we'll move on to the next one. Episode 2 of 0083 is called Endless Pursuit.
The two Gundams face off. Gato is not impressed and goes on the offensive, which drives Ko back as he's just getting his ass beat. Nina and Snaps are on the Albion prepping to launch. Snaps insists that Ko fall back. Gato just mocks him for not having the ability to pilot a Gundam, and then uses his Vulcans to slam 01 into the vehicle hangar, calls him an amateur, and then takes off, and another missile barrage hits the base. One of the Zeon soldiers on a nearby rock outcropping fires this heavy shoulder gun, and it hits the command building of the base, which kills the base commander, who we find out is named General Marnery, only as he dies in peak Gundam fashion.
Classic. Hate it when the commander dies and we are left alone with the Gundam.
Yes, Nina and Mara look on. Nina's hyperventilating because she's never seen combat before. Ko is freaking out in the Gundam cockpit. Lieutenant Burning shows up, grabs the Gundam, and gives him like a pep talk to get him to calm down. Keith shows up in his mobile suit, hands the Gundam a rifle, and the whole team goes after Gundam 02. The Albion detects a ship coming in. Synapse knows it's the Zeon recovery ship here to pick up the Gundam they're stealing. Gato is talking on the comms as someone's like, oh, Admiral Delaz will be pleased with your efforts. And he's like, compliments are for Earthnoids. I think Gato kind of sucks. Zeon suits detect the Federation pursuit, and they're like, oh, we need to do something to make sure that we get the drop on them and they don't get the drop on us. Nina and Mara head out in a jeep past the wreckage of the battle. Nina's like, you didn't have to come out with me, Mara. And Mara's like, oh, I needed to make sure that people were all right. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. I can protect them. And Nina looks at her and she's like, I mean, Ko, I need to protect Ko. Clearly trying to protect Nina. Because these two definitely are dating. I don't know. I feel like Nina should know that.
I feel like Nina should. Man, Nina's kind of dumb.
Yes.
But that's fine. It's part of the charm.
Yes. We cut to the Zeon submarine waiting in the ocean, and a Captain Dressler hears that Gato was successful, aside from the loss of a Dom Troppin that was destroyed. Talks about how Gato must have a plan to escape in case that the escape ship that's coming down is damaged, and he's like, I'm going to wait just in case he needs help, in case that something happens. And so the submarine's waiting, which is good. Gundam team stomps through the wastes, and I emphasize stomp here because the way the mobile suits in this show move, they just seem like incredibly giant, like it's like robot jocks happening in this. Like the way they move is really clunky and huge and slow in a way that's really interesting. It's a worlds apart from Judo's piloting the Double Zeta home, walking behind the kids with like the beam cannon slung over his shoulder like a baseball bat, right?
Yep. No, when the Gundam was just a very big boy.
Yes. Keith wonders why they take a nuke, and one of the other guys is like, oh, it's because they're sore losers.
Nobody has thought about anything since the 1 year ended.
Burning gives them a pep talk, and then they split off into duos to go like try to circle around and get the drop on Zeon. Gato continues to head to the Zeon ship that's coming down and complains to the guy who's securing him about being given the wrong Federation uniform because he's still on about this. Alan and Keith spot the ship, and Burning and Ko sneak around to get like a better beat on them. Ko's going to charge in while Keith distracts them with interference. Ko apologizes for his poor piloting in fighting the 02. But Burning's like, don't worry, kid, it was your first time. Just do it right this time. Keith gets surprised by a Dom who gets the jump on him, and then that Dom kills Alan, leaving Keith to fend for himself. Burning orders Ko to just go in, but an explosion floors him as the big heavy mobile suit with the big cannon attacks Burning, and the Zeon ship fires its engines and begins to take off. Nina and Mara watch. The Gundam leaps towards the ship to stop it, and Ko just plants himself directly in front of the ship. The Zeon pilots are not going to steer away for a single mobile suit, however. So Ko pulls out a gun and fires into the cockpit and manages to kill the pilots. So the ship launches, but explodes shortly after takeoff, which dumps the 02 onto the ground, which leaps out of the flames and confronts Ko once again. Gato yells at Ko for not having enough ideology to be the person who's in his way right now. And he's like, I'm here to secure the freedom of space noids. And Ko's like, what's a space noid? Basically. And Keith learns that Gato is, because he introduces himself as Annabelle Gato, and he is the Nightmare of Solomon from their history books, an ace pilot of Zeon back in the day. Ko is mad that Gato's just making speeches in battle, and Gato's like, you aren't smart enough to be telling me things like this. And he yells at him, and then Ko goes, yes, sir. And he's like, don't say yes, sir to the enemy. We're in battle. Because Ko's an idiot.
I like Ko.
Burning orders Ko not to pursue as the three suits take off for their next escape plan. Nina and Maro talk about Ko as they're sitting on the Jeep and like, looks like he's figuring it out, being in the Gundam. Synapse orders them to trace the attacks, figure out where Zeon is as they stand down from full readiness. Keith tells Ko about Alan being murdered as a burning orders them forward. And Keith's like, you're just going to leave Alan here? And he's like, was there a body to recover? Like, is he hurt? Is he dead? And Keith's like, oh no, he's dead. The thing blew up. And Burning's like, well, then it's the recovery's team problem, not ours. We have a mission to do. And then they all march into the smoke, disappearing as Burning has like a narration internally. He's like, Alan, you were the one who made us beat us back to base first. Very dramatic. This guy missed the boat in not being in 0080.
He sure did.
To we who are about to die.
To we who are about to die, flick your cigarette off the top of the mobile suit.
Yep. Another Federation team called the Callant team tracks the Zeon troops in the fog, but gets ambushed by 02 as they're complaining about like, oh, we definitely need to be burning, and we don't want that old man to be able to get the drop on the Gundam and get all the acclaim, and then they immediately get murdered by the Gundam. The sub out in the water watches the explosions in the fog and readies a retrieval vessel for Gundam 02. Burning tries to contact the Callant team, but is getting only static. Keith then mentions that Gato was Dozzel's ace pilot in the 1 Year War, and that he got so many kills, and that he's like, they're going up against a living legend. Big boss, if you will.
A legendary soldier.
Yeah. They're approaching the coast, suspecting that there will be a ship waiting to get Unit 02 as they talk battle plans. Ko's like, oh, the enemy's going to have the advantage because their back's going to be against the ocean and we can't round on them. But Burning's like, no, they're trying to escape. They want to get away more than they want to fight. So we might be able to pressure them into battle, and that would be the right thing to do. And they can get to him before he gets the recovery ship. And then he points to a less obvious place where clearly 02 went. And he's like, you have to understand, not everything's like you learned in school. We need instinct in and ideology to do well in battle. I need you to be able to look at a situation and grasp the nature of it immediately, what it is to be a new type.
Being a new type is just making the plot easier.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Being a new type is the one you don't have to have 4 scenes explaining everything.
Yes. Being a new type means never having to have a training montage.
Being a new type means always having to say you're sorry.
Yes, a living or dead, always apologizing.
Always apologizing.
Nina comes over the comms and asks for a favor. Take care of Unit 01 and bring back 02, please. Ko promises, but this was his mission anyway, so I feel like empty promise, Ko. And also, dumb thing to ask Nina. These two are clearly going to end up together because they're both clueless. Nina and Mara watches the Gundams walk past them. They're standing on a rock outcropping, so it's just like the shoulders and heads of the mobile suits walk past. Mara salutes them. Ko in his cockpit salutes back because he's a child. And the suits disappear into the fog, only for the flashes of battle to appear in the distance as the women watch from the rocks. Yes. The Gundam charges in against the Dom, but falls through the bad terrain, gets trapped in some rocks. Keith gets ambushed and the head is cut off his Zaku, which is all very cool, but he's fine. The heavy armor mobile suit, I think I have a name for this, the Zamel, with an X. I assume it said Zamel. Attacks the Gundam, but the Gundam succeeds in avoiding it. Keith then uses his Heat Hawk to destroy the Dom. Gato receives word that the collection ship is coming, but it can only hold one, and the Zamel stands its ground in a sacrificial bid to get Gato out of here. Ko then leaps off the Zamel, which is great, to get towards Gato and attack him. Keith and Burning attack the Zamel. Ko lands nearly on top of 02, and they begin fighting once more. They clash beam sabers, and Ko asks what he's doing. Gato refuses to explain himself to a child, and then Ko's like, I'm a Federation officer, and he's like, yeah, right, you're still a kid, basically. Nina tells Ko where to aim to damage 02, and he uses the beam saber to pierce the shield into like a generator, which forces Gato to retreat because he can't fight anymore. He tells Ko that he'll kill anyone who stands in the way of Zeon's resurrection as he's leaving, which is an easy thing to say when you're running away. Keith heads out to see Burning pinned by the Zamel. His mobile suit is just wrecked, but he killed the Zamel pilot. He's injured, has like a busted leg, and can't get out of the cockpit. Ko stands on the hand of the Gundam, watching where Gato retreated to as Nina and Mara approach. And they see that Ko is crying, watching where Gato escaped decompressing from the battle that has just happened as we reach the end.
That is it. That was the first 2 episodes of Stardust Memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a great time.
I really like this, like, really down-to-earth version of Gundam. Like, we got some of this with 0080, but that was very much like, this is what it's like for civilians. This is what if the Zeon soldiers who planted bombs on the Gundam, but everyone was those characters.
Yes. It is taking the... it's the 0080 approach of it being more grounded, but without that being like a gimmick, right?
Yeah, it's not about Bernie being like, oh, we're all the same. Like Federation Zeon, nobody really knows what's going on. We've all done bad things. And instead it's like, now these people, like Gato's literally like, kid, you need to get some ideology if you're going to be in the goddamn Gundam. And then flies off, and they're left to feel really sad about being in battle because battle sucks. But they're still just soldiers who are going to go into battle for the next 11 episodes.
This kid is absolutely going to invent the Titans and then go, fuck! It's going to happen to him.
Yep. He's gonna be like horrifically injured and gonna have to put on goggles, and he's Basque Ohm now.
Keith is going to dye his hair and put on a body warmer.
God.
Yep. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. There's the surface level part where I was losing my mind at all the ridiculous things that we have joked about becoming real. Where Big Boss is stealing a Metal Gear Gundam called Unit 02. Like,
yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, I didn't expect this to be the thing that all of the stuff comes from.
Like, it all just happened in one episode. All of that was one episode.
Yes.
Because we've been making all these jokes about how much Eva and like Metal Gear and other things about just like very clearly cribbing from this, and like they're positioned as being in conversation with the genre. It's not like people don't realize there's influences there, but there are just things that are very blatant all throughout Gundam. Like when you go through and watch all of Gundam in order, you just realize that the reason certain shows are as beloved as they are because no one went back to 2 decades earlier.
Yeah.
And realize all the ideas were already explored. They're like, this is for the new people.
Yeah, I know.
But that's why we do that bit. That's where that bit comes from.
Yep.
And I guess Unit 2 is not as explicit, like thematically, as all the stuff in Evangelion that is subversion is actually already more interesting in 0079.
Yeah.
But it is very funny in how it is the same name.
Yes.
Like, it is very funny.
Yeah.
Also, the Gundams are Metal Gear.
Yeah.
I hate it when I open up the like chamber that I promised to always keep sealed that contains a nuke, and then immediately get it stolen by the Zeons in peacetime.
Yep. They're sore losers.
The time between them putting a nuke on a Gundam and the Gundam being stolen is about a minute.
Like, these people live in the wreckage of Australia, and their only thought about Zeon is sore losers. They must want a nuke to get back at us.
Yeah, so let's get to Gato then, who is trying to be this show's Shah so much.
I assume we're going to get much more about him, but his first impression is that he sucks.
Yeah, but like the things he's saying aren't like always wrong. He seems to be earnest about his love for Space Noids.
Yes.
He seems to be like his aesthetics of the weird German stuff aside, you have to kind of leave that at the door and not bring that to your judgment of the character. He seems, at least in these episodes, that he is earnest about reviving Zeon for Space Noids rather than for Gihren's like weird fascist ideas.
Well, I mean, he was Dozzel's ace pilot. He didn't even work for Gihren.
Exactly. And Dozzel, as we all know, doesn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah, Dozzel doesn't know what ideology is. He probably couldn't even spell it.
He knows that he loves the Big Zam.
Yeah, he loves the Big Zam, and he loves his wife and young daughter, who will definitely never matter again.
But that's what Dozzel cares about.
Yep.
While his other siblings are having a civil war.
Yes.
But so Gato seems earnest, and also that he seems cool in terms of he is being at least portrayed as cool in doing cool robot stuff. But they overshoot it too hard, and we don't know him, so he just comes off as really annoying and awkward.
Yes, the part where the joke of him complaining about that he got the wrong uniform, the fact that he has look, this is part of the problem of like as a masculine non-binary person with long hair. Any dude who wears a shitty ponytail like this sucks. I don't care who they are. I've never met a single person with a ponytail like this that isn't fucking a piece of shit.
Yeah, no. If you're
and because we saw him before the 1 Year War and he just looked like a normal person and saw him after, this is clearly his until Zeon is restored to glory, I'm not cutting my damn hair. He sucks.
Yeah. And then Ku's nice, as the Gundam boys go. He doesn't understand that he's working for fascists, but he will in a while.
He will.
he's gonna find out
in probably 10 episodes.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that ends up playing out. But I end up like sympathizing.
Don't worry, Ko. The next war will be bigger and better.
But in the moment-to-moment episodes, I end up caring way more about Ko because he feels like more just on a character level, relatable and human in a way that Gato is. They are going too hard to make him an icon with little time.
Yes. I mean, I think they'll probably get there with a couple of more episodes of what Go's like when he's not, or Gato's like when he's not like in the middle of fighting the entire time, right? Eventually, Gato's going to interact with other Zeon characters in a way that isn't just berating them for his uniform as a joke, and hopefully he will be a person then.
Yeah, no, because the thing I'm really interested in are what are the internal politics of whatever the remnants of Zeon are at this point.
Yeah.
Because some of them, because Shah's already had access at this point, which is, I think...
Yeah, like most of them are off, like fucked off to the asteroid belt, so you're probably not going to see like Haman or Shah or anybody.
We don't see Haman. But... So all that's like, they can't touch that stuff, but then there's other wing of Zeon that is involved in some way in this conflict at the moment, trying to use this nuke to restore Zeon, which is going to go badly for everyone on the planet and not on the planet.
I guess I also don't understand what they're going to, like a single nuke's not going to restore anything. I don't know what they plan to do with it that's going to force the Federation's hand. I
mean, did they 100% know it had a nuke? I guess I assume they did.
Yeah, no, they did. Because Orville was like literally working with them and putting the nukes on the Gundam. Like Gato knew that they were going to be here testing a nuke Gundam and stole the nuke Gundam.
I mean, we'll find out what the plan is. My assumption is that this is just stage 1 in the plan.
But like in 0079, Makuve's whole plan was to launch 2 nukes, and it was like a bad day at the office for the Gundam, which stopped them, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like seen as like this is the one thing that's going to win or lose the war or whatever. And even then it was like in the middle of a battle where like that could have happened. But if they nuke like, I don't know, like Dakar or whatever, it's not going to change much.
Especially because they're living in the like wreckage of a colony drop, which is already Gundam's like nuke metaphor in its own fiction.
Yes, there are way worse things than 2 nukes in the world of Gundam, and they're the colonies which Zeon has already dropped on the Earth.
And
we'll do so again in the future.
Yeah, I think it's just the one colony at this point. I think the Sydney one.
But it's not like there's like, we know there's another colony drop in the future.
Oh, Ireland is fucked. If all of Australia is fucked, then I guess all of Western Europe just got obliterated.
Yeah.
After Double Zeta.
If one colony was able to do that to Australia, the things that we see in Dublin and Double Zeta are like outrageously under. Once again, we've wrapped back around to I feel like the colony drop would cause more damage than this.
And the places that and like Fifth Luna dropped in a place that is so there's 3 already textually we can't go down this road, but yes, that is it's weird. I don't know what their plan is going to be. I assume that they will use the nuke to get something else that will be their big plan.
Yeah,
but
I guess they could like nuke Granada or something, right? Like. If Zeon could take hold of the moon, that would probably change a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I assume they're going to try to take hold of Side 3 is my best, because, Zeon.
I just assume that this show is mostly in space, because the opening is mostly in space, so...
Oh, yeah, and the Albion's about to take off.
Yeah.
They're going to go fight Zeon in the White Base. That worked out so well last time.
Yeah.
He's in a house somewhere.
God.
He's watching this on TV being like, I wish someone would talk to me.
He is currently penning a deal to mass produce Haros.
Because the Federation is so worried that he might rise up against them.
Yeah. God.
Oh, God.
I think that's it for these 2 episodes. Worth mentioning, because we're about to go on to the other anime. The fucking like sex R&B music at the end of this show is amazing.
Oh my God. I lost it when Magic started playing, because the opening theme tune is already pretty funny, because it has a roll-up count-up from 0079 to 0083, which, yes, is only 4 years.
Yes, it's the slowest counter in the world.
As it just goes 0080, 0081. So that's already a ludicrous opening. And the song's alright, and then you get to the ending, and it's all in English, as it's a sex jam.
Yeah. Babies were conceived to magic, the ending of 0083 Stardust Memory.
There are people in the world who are not looking for a love affair.
No.
They need the magic when they touch you there.
It's great. It'll play at the end of this episode if you haven't heard it for whatever reason.
Oh, it sure will. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it a lot so far. Very interested to see where it goes. Excited, I guess. I'm glad the Gundam is good. Back on this train. I'm ready to see how this all ends up. All right, Gundam can get fucked, because it's time to talk about Armor Trooper Melolink, which is the coolest show ever made.
Melolink. He does not troop, he hunts.
He does not. It's true. He is a hunter, not a troop.
Yep.
Braver than the troops. Melolink. It's here. It's the next Bottoms thing. We've watched Bottoms. We have off the podcast watched the OVAs. I watched the final OVA last week.
Did you like it?
I liked it a lot. I think it doesn't make any sense in the canon of Bottoms, but that's fine.
Yes. But the way it ends with that parade is like the coolest thing that's ever happened.
Everyone watching realizes that they are fucked up.
Yes. So Armor Hunter Melolink is an anime directed by Takayuki Kanda. It came out 88 and 89. It is 12 episodes long. It is a side story to Armor Trooper Bottoms, which I mentioned we already watched. It takes place during the events of Bottoms. I assume it's not going to cross over at all. But that's what we got.
Yeah. It is the story of Melolink.
Yeah. I've got some summaries. They are much shorter than the Gundam summaries are. Though not as short as the Bottom summaries were, which were often very, very small.
Because we have some incredible episode names.
Yes.
Episode 1 of Armor Hunter Melolink is called Wilderness. Classic Bottoms naming returns.
Yes. We are in the Astraeus Galaxy. It is September of 7213 because Bottoms fucking rules.
My solemn promise to you is I will never remember what year it is in Bottoms past the 7.
Yeah, that's fine. We are introduced to Melolink. He is waiting with a huge rifle and fires on a passing convoy, blowing it up with a single shot. He holds some dog tags and hands one to one of the survivors and tells him to tell Commander Dogman that he's coming from hell to see him.
Gundam can
already
just
off to a
fuck
great
off.
start.
Is so cool.
We see some military burlesque as like a lady dances with a rifle in a chair. Bottoms is it's a bad universe. Bad stuff happens in this universe.
Yes.
We're introduced to Kik Carradine, who is an intelligence officer from Melkia. He's playing cards with Dogman and a mysterious woman who in these 2 episodes is not identified. He's talking about the Plan Pandal scandal that happened before the armistice was signed on the planet Mioite? I just wrote it down. I don't know how to say it. Dogman, who he's talking, because he's like kind of narrating camera. Dogman is connected to these events, so he's here to pump in for information. Both Carradine and the woman run circles around this guy as Dogman is bad at poker, but doesn't understand that he's bad at poker because clearly everyone's afraid of him and just lets him win all the time. Carradine pumps him for information about missing deuterium, which is the like armor or the like dilithium of Bottoms that like powers everything, if you don't know what Bottoms is, and whether or not he was culpable in like what happened in ordering a retreat. Dogman threatens the woman when she starts betting big, and she's like, I'm not gonna bet on this is bad, and then he pulls a gun. He's like, you're gonna bet and we're gonna play this out because he sucks. The guy comes back with the dog tag. Dogman freaks out because he recognized the tag. He's like, oh, that should be someone who is dead. He pins his cards down with a knife and rushes out. He tells the soldiers that they're being attacked by Balarant, which is the other side of Melkia. It's like Melkia and Balarant are in an endless war.
Nope.
Look, if you haven't seen
Nope.
Bottoms, what? No,
It's
not Melkia.
Gilgamesh
What's it
and
called?
Balarant.
What's it
Gilgamesh and Balarant.
Gilgamesh,
Gilgamesh and
right.
Balarant.
Yes.
Melkia is the planet.
Yes. Gilgamesh and Balarant are in this endless war, but they've recently signed an armistice. Yeah, they're on Melkia, or I guess Carradine's from Melkia. They might not be on Melkia.
They are on Melkia later. I think they must be on Melkia.
Yeah, they probably are.
Because, yeah.
Yes, worth mentioning, Melkia is a place where the war killed 75% of the population because get fucked, Gundam.
Because you can eat shit, Gundam. Because look at us. We're bottoms. You think you're the real robots. No, you ain't the real robots anymore. 75% in a forever 100-year war. The 100-year war.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, Balarant's attacking, but what about the armistice? And people are suspicious, but they do go on alert. Tanks are out into the desert, where Melolink has prepped mines in the sand. He's disappointed Dogman didn't come out and face him himself, so he hijacks a tank and drives it into base on his own. He sets off a bunch of bombs and then gets on the comms and announces that he and his squad were the Schweppes platoon, like the ginger ale, and
Yes.
they were framed for stealing the Jujurium during the Planpendal scandal. Every rumor you've heard about Dogman is true. He is corrupt. And then... Dogman, so then he set them all up and then sent them into battle with only these like armor-piercing rifles and no ATs where they were massacred. And that's why Melolink is only getting revenge with a rifle. He will never pilot an AT again. Extremely cool, honestly.
Just the coolest. It's the coolest.
Melolink runs from the guards. Dogman shoots his own men when they get in the way, and it horrifies the other soldiers on the base. Melolink hides in the room where Carradine and the woman are waiting to play cards. They both hide him from the guards, and they're like, when they come in to check, they're like, could you tell Dogman we got a game going here? Like, if he could come back, that'd be great. The woman points to a vent that Melolink can escape through. He then makes his way out into the desert by stealing another APC and blows up a bunch of the garage on his way out. Dogman's men refuse to follow him into battle because they don't believe in him anymore because they've just seen all this shit that he did and the accusations were true about him. So he's left to get into a scope dog on his own to go out there and save face by killing Melolink. Melolink stands out in the open with his rifle ready to wait for Dogman. He gets fired upon and a bullet grazes him, and then he smears the blood across his face just like in the opening because Melolink's fucking cool. One shot blows an arm off the AT coming, and then Melolink has to run as he's chased by machine gun fire. This leads Dogman into the minefield where one of the mines explodes and knocks the AT over. Melolink gets clipped running from machine gun fire and then gets up on a rock outcropping and detonates a mine near the fallen AT, which causes a bunch of smoke that allows Melolink to pursue or sneak up on the scope dog without being shot. Then he uses this giant armored piercing attachment on his gun that's propelled by like a armored trooper sized shotgun shell to puncture a hole in the cockpit and fires inside, killing Dogman with a single bullet. Melolink stands back and broods next to the scope dog as blood runs out of the cockpit hole. Back at base, Carradine picks up the cards that were pinned down and reveals that Dogman would absolutely have won their high-stakes poker game. The woman is relieved. Melolink gets on a motorcycle and rides off into the sunset, and we reach the end.
It's cool. It's cool.
He gets up on the armored trooper, hits it with the spike, and then kills the person inside. It's cool as hell.
He wipes the blood across his face. Every time he sees one of the people responsible for this massacre, he does the Kill Bill thing.
Yes.
As it goes, like, it flashes to a picture of all of them and highlights one of their faces as he's like, I've seen my next enemy. And then he proceeds to murder them and presumably will 12 times in a row, and each of them will be very cool.
Yes.
Like, the show is what it is. There's very little going on here, but to its detriment, it's just all booking, right? Like, it's just, here's a new guy for him to fight.
Yes, he's going... Also, it's a single man against a scope dog, so it's always going to be the coolest thing in the world, right?
Yeah, it can't not be. I mean, he's going to do a lot of running away in smoke screens. These are going to happen a lot.
Yes, that doesn't make it not...
Cool.
That makes it cooler, in fact, that he just does this.
And also, this episode specifically rules because the part where he's breaking into the base but only knocking all the soldiers out...
Yes.
Is very cool. And then it's, it's Dogman who starts killing his own men.
Yep.
And he just walks out to his certain death.
Yep. Batman also get fucked. Melolink is here.
Yes. Yes. Things that can get fucked, according to Bottoms.
Gundam and Batman.
Batman. And Kill Bill, years in the future.
Yep.
It's great. It's great. You want to do the next episode?
Yeah.
Episode 2 is called Colosseum because Vodums does not need these things called words.
Yeah. We get Carradine narrating Mellink's riding into the city of Tabbing, which is only a small body of water away from Kumin, which is currently in the grips of a civil war. Find out more about that in the second arc of Armored Trooper Bottoms.
Yep.
This city is like a raucous frontier town with like saloons and food stalls and battling tournaments, which is where the mechs get in an arena and kill each other for sport. And here there is a famous battling combatant called Galvin Fox. And it just so happens that he was involved in the Plan Pandal scandal.
Who could foresee? He sees him on a poster and he does his a flash. And it shows the photo again, and he's like, I found my next target. And, yeah.
There's a guy named Bolf who is about to be beaten up by some people he owes money to, but he falls out of a saloon literally into Mellink's lap. And then he's like, this guy's my bodyguard. And Mellink then beats up these guys when they come for him. And he's like, oh, you need to protect me. We could do a lot together. You're really skilled. I know some angles. I could get you work. Mellink is not interested and walks into a saloon, which has neon saloon doors, which is cool as hell.
Yep.
Inside the saloon is the mysterious woman from episode 1. She spots Mellink heading to the bar as she's playing cards and comes to say hello. She talks to him about Dogman. Mellink then spots in the mirror Galvin Fox in a poster for the battling league. She goes up with him to look at it. She's like, oh yeah, he's the Silver Fox of Melkia, but I think he's cheap. I drank with him and he sucks. He didn't even pay for my drinks. Look at me. I'm a classy lady. We cut to battling happening. It's still very cool. Fox is super agile compared to his opponents. He has this chromed out AT with this spiked punching arm. Mellink watches him kill a guy, and then he's like, Bolf, if you want to hook me up with a job, I want to be in the battling arena. And Bolf's like, great, I could be your manager. I can get you an AT. It'll be great. He's like, no, don't worry about the AT. I just need a couple of supplies. I want to fight him on foot. And Bolf's like, well, you're going to die, but that's going to make I won't have to pay you, and it's going to make that super popular because people will love to see you get run down by an AT. Which is exactly what happens. Back at the bar, Mellink asks for ammo and a single shell for his arm jack and some mines, which is exactly the stuff he used last episode. So clearly he's got it down to a science how to fuck up an AT.
He knows what he's doing.
Yes. The woman comes up and tells him he's getting conned by both. Mellink's like, I don't care. I just need the stuff. And then he asks her for a favor as we cut to the battling arena. Fox is being shitty to his mechanics because they put a scuff on his chromed out AT. The mysterious woman walks in and she's like, I'm your biggest fan, Fox. I have these flowers for you. And then she runs off and he looks at the flowers and a dog tag drops out of them. And he's like, oh, I recognize this dog tag. This is someone who should have been dead. And Carradine watches this all happen from the catwalk above, going, very interesting, like writing down notes about what this episode is.
Yeah, he's just here as well, also in the city.
Yes. The mysterious woman bet on Mellink. She seems to be the only one. As he walks out to jeers from the crowd, Carradine sits next to her and teases her. He's like, weren't you Fox's biggest fan? And she's like, look. We find out his name is Mellink Arity, Arity. Yep. Fox recognizes him immediately. Mellink, so a bunch of walls come up because it's like a maze arena. He runs into the maze. Fox, he runs up and climbs up on one of the things. Fox fires up at him, and then Mellink dodges, and it just goes into a spectator box, which explodes, and the crowd like roars because a bunch of rich people got murdered, which, you know, fair enough.
Yep.
By hiding and baiting Fox, he's able to lull him into chasing him right into some mines he laid in his path. That slows him down. Fox is getting in more and more like desperate all-out attacks to kill Mellink. He outruns a lot of them by just being a small target that makes it hard for an AT to hit. Fox finally tracks him down to grab him and pick him up and crush him with his hands, which is where Mellink reveals that he has like an industrial car jack under his cloak, which he uses to keep the hands of the thing apart as he climbs up around the jack, and at this range is like right on top of the cockpit and fires the armor jack directly into the AT, which kills Fox instantly. It is over. The woman's
cool.
rich. Bolf is ruined because he bet all his money on Fox, sure that Mellink would lose. Carradine is just standing there smoking as he watches Fox's AT get dragged off, and he's like, this Mellink seems to know what he's doing. And we reach the end.
Yep. Vodums is back. It's extremely cool.
This stuff is great. Knowing this is only 12 episodes, like the energy and the amount that these episodes just tell a full story in the way that Vodums didn't, just pushes the Vodums aesthetic into the best place.
Yeah, because we're probably going to be in a new town next time.
Yes.
We're just going to have new places for people to hang out in.
Yep.
Carradine and the woman will both be there for no reason.
Yep.
Eventually there'll be reasons, but probably not until episode 7.
Yeah.
And we'll just get another thing of he'll see another guy and it'll kill him. It'll be really cool. There's very little going on plot-wise. At some point there'll be an actual plot and a slight reveal of why this operation happened. But he's going down his list. It's fine.
I feel like they've given it all the context they need to if they don't even want to talk about that.
It's an anime. There's no way there's not a third act turn. There's no
fair.
way there's not a third turn.
Mellink's going to plant the mines, and then an armor trooper is going to run into them, and then he's going to climb up on it and shoot it with the spike, and the person's going to die. It's going to be great.
There's only one way this ends, right?
Which is
this final opponent is Kiriko.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with each other.
Yeah, no, you're right, but I'm just going down the logic of what it means to have a guy fight an AT. And that's the only place you can take it.
I just don't think that's what's going to happen.
No, it might not. But I was going by pure booking logic. You have to have the two invincible guys fight each other.
That'd be cool. Mellink will absolutely die if that happens because Kiriko's got way more going on than being an AT pilot. I promised people we would not talk explicitly about the ending of Vodums, so we can't.
It's really hard not to. It's really hard not to because the ending of Vodums is basically the crucially important to my being.
Yes.
But he does have more going on than that.
Yes, I was about to explicitly talk about some of that stuff, and I cannot, so...
I guess we can't. Well, watch Vodums.
Yeah, everyone should watch Vodums. It's very good. Watch Mellink. It seems really good, too.
Yep.
It definitely is the show that Vodums would be if it wasn't 52 episodes that should be 12.
Right, because there's no mythology here. It's just cool shit. It's just people getting murdered, and a guy wiping blood across his face as he stoically falls into relationships with people, but only by accident because he's so single-minded on his revenge.
Do you think Mellink will ever sit and be like, "Is this what friendship is?" when he's hanging out with mysterious lady and kick Carradine?
No, with Carradine and him will have the Rochina respect, mutual respect thing.
Yeah, Carradine's probably a better guy than Rochina is, but sure.
Yeah, but only for, reasons we can't talk about.
Yes.
Because Vodums is wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, him later absolutely gonna have these moments where they're like, oh, we could be friends, but I am too much driven by revenge. And she'll do the Fiona thing of being like, oh, he doesn't know that I don't mind that he's only driven by revenge.
Yes.
Because Vodums, it only has one trick. It's just a very good trick.
Yep.
But that's Gundam this week. That's the whole show. That's it.
Yeah. Next week, we are doing 3 episodes of 0083 because it's an odd-numbered series. So please look forward to that. We will again do 2 episodes of Mellink. Those will be behind the paywall. If you're listening to this free, please go to patreon.com/normalmapping and think about supporting us and our show. It's only $1 a month, and we do good podcasts. I feel very proud of Gundam. People like it a lot. Please, if you haven't come aboard, come aboard.
We got a comment. We don't normally shout out the Gundam comments because we'll reply if anyone has any questions. But this is the only time I want to specifically shout out praise we got.
Yes, that's true.
Because usually when people praise us, that's very nice, and I feel very validated. But I don't want to brag about it. This one, however, someone commented, "I learned a lot about politics from a Gundam podcast." So we did our job.
Yeah, the highest honor. If you want to go back just 2 weeks ago, we had Austin Walker on to talk about Gundam and communism and the world.
Well, yeah, no, the neoliberal animes.
Yep. God. That seems like a lifetime ago, and it was 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
The internet moves too fast.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's a good show, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode if you're new. I'm very proud of our entire Gundam work. I haven't gone back and listened to any of it because I'm too scared.
I've listened to all of it, and there's very funny stuff like Jackson not knowing who Quattro Vegeta is.
That's not even the real stuff that I think back
I know. You can watch us go on a whole journey. There's a bit in Double Zeta where suddenly we get way more radicalized about the world.
Yes, there sure is.
It's very funny.
Look, Amuro just saved everyone, and he did the right thing, and it was good, and it was fine. Nothing ever went wrong again.
Absolutely.
Roll credits. The year is 0080.
Him and Char became children who got in a race car.
And then they went to fight the rich.
Yes. We've covered SD Gundam also. If you've never seen SD Gundam, we'll talk through it. You can figure out what SD Gundam's about. Some of it's pretty good.
We haven't seen anything else. We haven't seen anything in the future. This is our first time going through Gundam. So if you're listening to this and you want to make comments about, like, why aren't you bringing this up when you talk about this? It's because we've never seen it. We're going in order. We will get there. We will get there in many years. We're going to hit everything. It's going to happen.
Outside of that, if you want to go follow us on Twitter, it's at Time to Go Axis.
Yes.
And they're, it's mostly Gundam shit posts, honestly.
Yeah, we mostly use it when we need to make Gundam shit posts and don't want to use our main.
Yeah.
That's what ends up going there. Also, I promote the episodes in there, but it's a Twitter account. It's good.
Yeah.
And that's it. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back next week. Until then, hit the sex music.